Welcome back to the 106th PGA Championship, where three-time PGA champion Brooks Koepka is joining us. Brooks, welcome to Valhalla, where you'll be playing in your 12th PGA Championship. How are you feeling about your game as your title defense begins tomorrow?
Yeah, I feel good. Feel like my game's in good shape right now. It's be interesting to see how the course plays. It's a little wet right now. I don't know if we're going to get any rain this afternoon. Looks like it. So, but yeah, it's in great shape. It's just as I remember. Obviously, changed the grass and the fairways. I think it's made it a little easier to chip off of. But yeah, it's a good track, big boy golf course.
That's great. Thanks. We'll open up for questions, starting with Jeff.
Hey, Brooks. You made a nice tradition here of being the host for the Champions Dinner. Last night you had a nice turnout, looked like cool venue. What does it mean for you to be able to host that dinner, and what were a couple of highlights of the evening?
Yeah, look, it's awesome. I'm not able to go to the one at Augusta yet, but this one is super cool. It's the only one I'm able to go to. It was great to be at Churchill Downs. I've always wanted to go to the race. I think we were going to go in 20, but the COVID, we couldn't get to go. So it was super special, and we had a great time. It was a good dinner, really cool. Some cool things. My chef was able to cook up the menu and help the guys at Churchill Downs. So we had a good time.
Mike 8.
Hey, Brooks. After Singapore, you said that Augusta was a bit of an embarrassment in your eyes, and you kind of had to look your team in the eye and say, sorry. What have you done to reset since then, and what did you have to actually tell your team there?
Not much. I just apologized. Everybody put in a lot of hard work, dedicated a lot of time and effort, and then for me to go out and play like that's not what I expect of myself. I don't think what they expect of me. So yeah, we had a good talk and just kind of put our nose down and kept grinding. Had some difficult punishment workouts. It was long hours on the range. Just worked with everybody and really tried to go back to the fundamentals, and I think that was the important thing.
Over to Mike 5 for a couple.
Hey, Brooks, you mentioned, you referenced punishment workouts in Adelaide. I think you mentioned it first. How are those different? What do you do to yourself in those workouts? And then what do you have to do? What causes that? Is it are you upset at your approach? Or are you upset the way you played? What makes you think?
I'm not looking for the punishment workout. I just get told that it sucks. It's not a lot of fun. A lot more running. Very up tempo, no rest. Aura Sapaya, who basically he kind of oversees my program with Hamish and Colby, and they talk and they figure it out. But I walked in and Aura told me that you finished 45th, you're gonna get penalized. So I think I had like 4 or 5 days in a row of just. I turned white, but I wanted to throw up in a few of them, but yeah, got through it.
Brooks, what exactly was wrong at the Masters? What happened? Was your swing off? Was your technique, putting? What led to the disappointing finish?
It was a bit. It's kind of funny. It's been windy down in Jupiter at Grove. Feels like it was blowing 20 miles an hour every time we hit balls from pretty much February on, and then every time we seemed to play, it was blowing 25 or 30, and ball position just got back with everything all the way through the bag, even with putter. So just wasn't able to see the start lines. I like to see it start a little bit left of the target and then kind of fade back, and it was kind of on, starting on target or a little bit right, and I've kind of had the both way miss, which isn't good, but just had to go back to fundamentals, so that was it.
Up to 18.
Hey, Brooks, right back here. When you look ahead to this tournament, how do you feel like this golf course plays to your strengths and the success you've had, particularly in major championships?
It's a long golf course, so you got to be able to hit the ball far. The fairways, I wouldn't say they're generous. I don't think they're overly generous, but you can take advantage of them. The rough stake, if you're going to miss fairways, you're going to be in trouble. I think that's pretty much the MO of a major championship. Got to hit fairways, got to hit greens. But yeah, I think it's just a great golf course. You can kind of tell by the past champions too.
Mike 1.
Brooks, with what Scotty's done and Rory's done the last couple of weeks, are you excited at all to get a chance to go up against them?
I mean, I'm just looking forward to a major championship. That's kind of gets my excitement going. Something I look forward to all year. So yeah, I always enjoy competing against these guys, and anytime you get the best, it's always good, and you just want them to play their best too. You want to go out and win it.
Let's go 14, 15, and 6.
Brooks, when and why did you switch to the mallet putter?
I switched, I believe it was maybe a week and a half before Augusta. Just needed a new look. That was really what I was looking for. Maybe a little bit more forgiveness. I think you kind of see it, right? There's trends in golf, and everyone starts using a mallet, and it's a little bit more forgiveness. I noticed that the dispersion pattern is a little tighter, and that's kind of the big thing with me.
Hey, Brooks, did the win in Singapore say to you, I've got it figured out after what happened in the Masters?
Well, I took the week off after Augusta didn't touch the club, so Adelaide was kind of the first time we were able to work on it, and just went back to basics. It's kind of the thing. My swing is never off. It's always either something with alignment or ball position, and just kind of get back to those fundamentals, and that's kind of the key for me.
Alex?
Yeah, Brooks, when you first started with Liv, obviously the schedule's different, everything's different. Come to major championships, 4 rounds, seeing the guys you haven't seen in a while. I'm assuming now, after a couple years, you've kind of gotten more and more comfortable with it. I just want to know if that's true, and how did you get to that comfort level?
Comfort with what? Like, what do you mean?
With playing out there and then coming out and playing in the majors.
Well, I think the majors are different than everything else. So the majors they just have a different feel than any other golf tournament. It's always been, I've always enjoyed it. They're always tougher golf courses, so it's something I get up for. But there's really, I don't see, it's the same thing, right? It's always the peak of our sport, or the 4 times a year we play a major. So that's kind of the only thing. But there's no real difference.
Okay, and the other thing is a lot of times people learn maybe more from losses or poor performances than they do from wins. Do you feel that way from what you learned at Augusta?
Yeah. I mean, I've said it multiple times. I think winning, you don't really look back at anything. You just kind of celebrate it and kind of move on. But when you lose, you're kind of forced into trying to figure out why and what happened, and whether that be second place or missing a cut, it doesn't really matter. You got to figure it out.
Mike 11, then 8.
Yeah, Brooks, saw you got to play practice round with JD today. Crew got to meet Uncle John as well too last night. What's that relationship for the two of you like, being past champions here and reuniting?
Yeah, JD's the man. I've always loved being around him. He's gotten close with my dad as well. I think what was it, Bethpage? Him and my dad hung out for a while. I think my dad even forgot to come out and watch me till it was probably about the back 9. So he probably should have stayed with JD, otherwise it wouldn't have been as close. But no, look, he's been great. We text a lot. We have pretty good communication, and it's always fun. Try to play with him at least once. I think played with him at the British last year, and then obviously here try to get 9 holes in with him.
Brooks, it seems like out here on tour there are guys who can go out down the stretch, execute the shots they want, and then there are guys that just don't have it. Do you think that that's a skill or ability that can be learned?
Yeah, I think you can learn it. You're always adapting to kind of your surroundings, so the more times you put yourself in that position, it's easier to learn from. But you really have to dive in deep to the issue and really kind of look yourself in the mirror as to why, if you can't cross that line, why can't you? Or when you did, what was your thought process? What was your what were the misses? You just go down that line of what really went wrong, and I think you definitely can learn it. But I mean, some guys definitely are born with it.
We'll go next to Mike 6, followed by 7 and 17.
Brooks, when you decide after the Masters that you need a week away from the clubs, you put the clubs down, is that easy or hard for you to do?
No, it's pretty easy. It was kind of always planned. I think no matter how I play in the majors, I feel like I'm not physically exhausted, just mentally. just the grind of what I put myself through, or what goes on for the previous weeks of the prep. It's just a lot more intense, and I mean, I enjoy taking the week off after. It's kind of enjoyable.
Brooks, when you struggle in events, is competitive mindset ever the issue?
Yeah, I think so. I think sometimes you can be looking so far ahead. Maybe, beginning of the year, you just kind of, you're focusing on different things, maybe like for Augusta or for this, whatever, that you kind of just forget where you're at, and instead you're still supposed to go out and go win and go compete. And it's definitely happened to me. I'm sure, I don't know if it happens to everybody else. Don't ask them, but it's definitely been the case sometimes, but try not to let that happen.
Has that ever happened to you at a major, or?
No, I'm pretty locked in once I get here.
Brooks, what are the common traits among the 3 courses that you've won at previously on the PGA, and what do you see out here that would be common to those 3?
I would say this probably has more in common with Bethpage than it does Belle Reve, just for the fact of, I think length's very important here. Yeah, it's a major championship. You gotta put the ball in the fairway. I think that's the big thing. You look at those 2. It's here in Bethpage. If you miss the fairway, I think if you had a 5-iron in, there's a good chance you're not reaching the green. Maybe you can if you catch a great lie, but odds are you're really not. So I think that's the common trait against or with PGAs or with most recently what they've been doing.
Okay, thanks.
We'll wrap things up with Mike 9 and 18.
Yeah. You've won this event 3 times. It's the most successful major for you. Can you think of a reason why you've had success in the PGA Championship?
No idea, man. I just like majors.
Brooks, back here at 18, you talked about the mindset, that the mental exhaustion that you have after a major. How would you describe your mindset when you get into one of these tournaments? What kind of switch flips for you?
I don't know. I mean, I've heard from just kind of the people around me, it's just different. My demeanor, my focus is just different. I can't explain it. I don't really know how to or what I really do different. But everybody on the team can kind of see it, and they kind of know. I can walk right past them, and I don't even know that they're there sometimes. It's a grinding week. You've got to be fully locked in. I feel like you can't take one shot off, and I love that. It's always, you're one shot away from making a double bogey, and that's what I love.
All right. Thanks for your time,
Thanks.
Brooks. We appreciate it.